Hey guys, Coop here. Let's make a mermaid tail keychain. I'm gonna show you how to do that today. It's real simple. You can mix as much epoxy as you want. For this video, I just went ahead and mixed 1 ounce and separated the 1 ounce to half and half so I could do 2 colors. I've got a yellow and a reddish purple. The amount of glitter I used was just maybe a half a teaspoon of each color. It's really up to you. However thick you want it will be how much glitter you add. But I had a few people asking how I pour the mold, or how I pour the keychains, so I figured I'd do a quick video to show you guys how I do it. It's pretty simple. It's just pretty much mixing up your epoxy, and you can let the epoxy set and it'll thicken up, or you can add enough glitter to make it as thick as you want. Personally, I just pour it fast enough to where I can mix the 2 colors and they blend pretty well. I think I am going to put a little bit more of that yellow in there, sticking it up just a little bit more. It's not rocket science, guys. You just find your happy medium of how much you want to use and use it. But I had a young lady asking me how I pour it and keep my colors separate. Well, your colors are gonna blend a little bit, but the thicker your epoxy is, see, the more separated your tails will be, your colors will be. So we're gonna go ahead and just pour this real quick. And what I do is I pour the top part of the tail first. It's pretty simple. Just pour it in, and once it gets to about the halfway mark with my epoxy, I stop. I grab my other color and I pour it. You can control the amount that goes in your mold pretty easy. And then I usually, to get these tail tips, I'll pull the epoxy with my popsicle stick to the end instead of trying to pour it to the end. You try and pour it to the end, you'll get a nice little mess. If you rake it over with your popsicle stick, you don't get quite as much of a mess. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something a little different with this one. This next one, I'm going to take and put some yellow down in the belly of it, and some yellow over on the ends of the tail. And this is where you got to work pretty fast to keep your epoxy from running all over the place. It's a pretty quick and easy little item to make. It doesn't take much time. They set up in about 8 or 9 hours, completely cured in around 24. And if you're wondering about the little bowls, these are silicone bowls. So once the epoxy that's left over in the bowl that you can't get out dries, you can just pulls right out, just comes right out. No problem. Since I don't have enough to make another one, I'm going to go ahead and fill this one up a little bit more. Set that right there. This one needs just a little bit more epoxy to it. Just to fill the mold up. And I have some left over. So what you can do with your leftovers is always have one that's just got partial stuff from every time I pour, a little bit of leftover in each one. So what I'll do is I'll just add this to it. Kind of give a unique two-tone. You pretty much won't see it on the front of it, but you'll see it on the back of it. And then just gently encourage your epoxy to flow. And as you can see, I got a little bit left over in my glass. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of it and just start a new one. And then next time I'll just add to it. Alright guys, that's how simple and easy it is. Okay guys, now that we've got our mermaid tails poured, giving them a few hours to harden up, we're going to demold them and put the keychains on them. So let's get started. We poured these a few hours ago, probably about, I think I did it around 2 or 3, and now it's probably around 8 o'clock, probably 4 or 5 hours. We had them under a heat lamp. You don't want them to be completely hard. You just want them, you want them to be soft enough to where, hard enough to where you can work with them, but still soft enough to where you can add your keychains to them to where you don't have to drill the holes. So that's finished up. It's just a little soft. It's not real soft. I take the keychain. The keychain has an eye hook. By the way guys, I will put a link to the Amazon address where I bought these keychains. They come completed with the key ring, the chain, and the eye hook or eye screw, whatever you want to call it. But what I do is I try and get it as centered as I can, and I push it as hard as I can while I'm twisting it, and just to get it started. Once it gets started, then I just take and screw it the rest of the way on with my fingers. If you wait until they're completely set up, it'll be just a little bit harder to work with. But all you have to do is you can use a pair of pliers. Just grab a hold of the eye with your pliers. Find your center. Push it and twist at the same time you're pushing it. Do it a couple times to get it started. Once it's started, then you can just grab, I just pinch them right here where the big loop is, and I just use the big loop to finish twisting them in. And I go all the way down to the eye, like so. And that one's done there. Now we'll pull this one out. Same thing. Mine are soft enough to where I can just push them in, but you don't want them too soft and you don't want them too hard. You can let them, like I said, you can let them set up. If you let them set up and you can't get it with a pair of pliers, you can always take a 1mm drill bit if you have one and drill a hole with it. You can get 1mm drill bits just about anywhere, and there you go. Or if you don't have a drill bit, you can always use a pair of pliers. Just hold the tail as firmly as you can, pushing with the pliers as firmly as you can, and starting your thread. And once you get it started, then you can finish it off with your fingers. Alright guys, I'll make sure and put a link to the keychains that I got from Amazon in the description box. I'll also put a link in the description box where you can purchase the molds. Right now, the lady that I purchased the molds from, my last video, she's on Etsy. She's created a 20% off code for you guys. So the code for this will be COOP20. It'll be down below in the description box of this video. So if you want to save 20%, just type in that code at her Etsy store and you can save 20%. She sells these for $3 a piece. I don't know what 20% is off the top of my head. I would say it's 60 cents maybe you'll save, but it's well worth it. Anything you save is worth it in the long run. But these molds are fabulous. I love the molds. They're easy to work with. But there you go, guys. Molds, keychains, and finished product. That one turned out really nice. But anyway, guys, if you want to put your comments, questions down below, I'll be more than happy to answer anything you post. I appreciate your support. Appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos. It means a lot to me. And as you guys all know, we've got the social media sites up and going. All the links for those will be down below. Come over and join us on one of them, all of them, or none of them. It's entirely up to you. And with all that being said, my friends, old Coop's pretty much going to say, Coop out.